entrepreneurial book club where Stephanie never read the right book. And
Stephanie was terrible at this book club.
I really sucked at book club.
I did
Fabulous. What?
I just had a visual. I just had a
It was a
visual.
lot.
I had a visual.
Proud of it. Hello and good morning. I am back. How are you, Mark?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm thrilled that you decided to book a time on the show. And that weird in between time, post Hanukkah, post Christmas, we're Kwanzaa, New Year's, like we're headed into the new year. And I think that this time of year, I know for me as a business owner, I'm burnt out.
Yep. Everyone is at this time of year.
Like just fried.
And you know what? The thing that most small business owners don't realize is they need to take time. They need to find time where they can back away. They can take time to recreate. They can take time to think. My wife and I owned a trade show and event marketing company for almost 30 years. We always took a vacation. We always stopped. We told ourselves we're not going to talk business while we're away. We each took a notebook. And in the notebook, we put down our ideas that we thought of when our mind was at ease.
Yeah.
And then we shared them when we got back.
Oh, I like that.
So recreating and taking time is really important because, you know, people say that small business ownership is 24/7. It's more than that.
Yeah.
And you need to be not only thinking, but acting. And it takes time away from everything else in your life. And, you know, we talk about life balance and work balance.
That's cute, Mark.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, it's possible,
Okay.
but you have to work at it.
Yeah.
Early in my career, I had an international marketing job, and I would go to work some days and never know if I'd be on my way to another country that night. So I made a deal with my wife and kids that if I was in town, I'd be home for dinner.
Oh,
And
okay.
so 5:30, packed it up, went home, had dinner. Didn't mean I didn't go back to work after the kids went to bed.
Yep.
But you need to find ways to balance. Otherwise, you're on your way to burnout very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely felt like I was teetering on that. And I'm glad that I said to my husband, we'll just go away.
Go.
I'm not putting up a tree. I'm not decorating the house. I'm not doing any of that. We're leaving.
One time we were in the midst of a really, really busy year, and Mim and I looked to get at each other and we said, we need to get away. And we jumped in the car and we drove to Hyde Park in New York and spent 2 days driving up to Lake Champlain and back. It was just enough to recreate,
Yeah.
to back away from the pressure of every day.
And I like that you said you could just drive away for a day or two. It doesn't have to be this grandiose thing where you're going away sometimes.
Right.
And I think I'm liking what I'm seeing on social media and a lot of new businesses taking a week off in January. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh, good.
Yeah. And not necessarily being open all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, being open when it's opportunistic for the business, especially in the off season.
Yep.
And taking the time during the off season to reflect and look back on what worked, what didn't work, what can we do differently.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, Dave Hegner, thanks for joining us on the show. Marc Goldberg is here from SCORE, and lots of changes for SCORE in 2026.
Yeah, we have a new business model, and it was a result of federal funding, which we've had for 60 plus years. And things are quite different, but and like most other situations, consolidation, reduction in the number of chapters, and it's resulted in a reduction in the number of mentoring opportunities. But the mentoring on Cape Cod has retained very high levels.
I cannot speak more highly of having a mentor. This is something that was new to me. I left terrestrial radio for 25 years. I've done a job and was laid off during pandemic. And it was kind of a crazy time to be laid off, but also a gift because that was kind of the shift on everything. Everything was moving. Everything was shaking. We were starting off Lemonadio, and I decided to do E4All because I didn't know what to do for myself. And I've never run my own business before. No idea what I was in for. I still, 5 years later, don't know what I'm in for half the time, but I'm also still here after 5 years, which in the business world is a big deal.
Is really something. Yes.
Yeah.
20% of all the businesses that start in the 5th year are the only ones around anymore. 80% don't make it.
And I love biz tips. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but Marc is just a wealth of knowledge of all of this. So I'm here in E4All. I think it was like 3 weeks in, and you popped in to start talking about, I think it was, I forget what it was, your customer segment or one of the fun lessons.
Right. Well, Mark Lowenstein actually does the business model canvas.
He's awesome.
Very early on in the program. And I've worked in a number of areas within the E4All program, including reading applications and judging and teaching in the cohort. But the important thing is that find somebody that can be your accountability partner.
Yes.
To keep you focused. And that's one of I think the benefits of having a mentor, because anybody who starts a business or thinks about starting a business or is a small business owner is opportunistic. And where most of us get in trouble is where we accept more than we can undertake. And so staying focused and having a way to deal with the extraneous ideas that come our way and stay within the bounds of what can be accomplished and should be accomplished.
Yeah, it's really hard to get that focus lane.
Yeah, it is. And one of the things we want to think about is using a planning tool. And SCORE adopted the business model canvas approach, which is a one-page business plan that allows a small business entrepreneur to identify what's their value proposition, who are their target customers, how do we reach those target customers, and then go out and validate it.
Lowenstein changed my world with it. It's
Absolutely.
something that I had never seen before because I didn't go to business school. Right. This was not an avenue. I spoke for a living. I gave my opinions for a living, and no one wanted to pay me for that anymore.
Right. And damn it. And he's the one that really emphasizes the importance of validating. You know, you and I have the best ideas known to man and women.
Yeah.
I mean, we know this is going to sell. But you know what? Until we go out and talk to our target audiences and say, is this something that you need, want, or desire? Does this solve a problem that you have?
Yeah.
Then you don't know if this idea is saleable. In our business, we had a measurement tool. And the measurement tool was the very first systematic approach to measurement of trade shows and events. And we created a software tool. And I absolutely thought this was going to be the best seller.
Yeah.
Guess what? It didn't sell.
Well,
because people didn't see.
Yeah.
But we found that there were people like exhibit builders and exhibit marketing companies that would license it for their customers. So it was a successful product, just not the way we envisioned it.
Nice. And how long did it take before you realized that?
Not too long, but when we weren't making any sales, we decided, okay, how do we pivot? And that's another thing that a small business entrepreneur starting has to realize, that maybe the path you're on isn't the path that you were meant to be on.
It's such a good conversation to have towards the end of the year, towards the beginning of the year. And I know as a business owner, you started planning your next year in September, but it's always good to shift that just a little bit as we're coming into another year where we kind of don't know where the world is a little crazy right now.
Right. And one of the things, if you're a reader of the Cape Cod Times, next week's column is all about reflecting on 2025 and looking forward to 2026.
Yeah, I like that though. And I'm so appreciative of your biz bites and your biz tips. And when you drop it and send it to the chamber for our newsletter, it really is just something, it's a good reflective tool, but also there's a lot of data in there and some research as well. So it's good to just refresh. Good morning, Miss Maria. Hello from Sandwich. Tucker, how you doing? You survived the parade. Thank you very much, by the way. What a great parade we had this year in Mashpee. Season of Illumination is near its end. It looks like we had a blown fuse in the Rotary. Some of my snowflakes were not lit up, and I was like, oh, Oh, wait, it looks like a fuse. The things I never thought I would be into in 2025
Right.
when I took this job as executive director of the chamber and trying to have a job and balance a business. Definitely needing a mentor. Mark and I were talking about a lot of things because there is a series coming up with Eastern Bank, but also things that SCORE does and people that SCORE services. I know you always talk a lot about new businesses and growth, but what if you're not into growing? What if you're like, I am done. This business, I've been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years, and I want to take a back seat to this.
Right. Well, one of the things that on the Cape, if you look around, most of the small businesses are owned by boomers. And,
no one's shocked.
And at this point, a boomer is looking for what we call their encore performance. What are they going to do after 20, 30 years of owning a business? Well, the one thing we've learned is that, and I learned from practical experience, that it takes as much time and as much planning to exit a business as it does to start one. And some of the big issues that we have faced as mentors is small business owners that said, well, I just want to slow down. I just don't want to work as hard. So instead of keeping the business vibrant until the point that they do sell it or transition it to one of their employees as the new owner, the business deteriorates and it loses its value. So the one thing you need to think about as a business owner, if you're thinking about exiting and going on to your encore performance, is a plan. And the very first question you have to ask is, what's your objective in selling the business? Is your objective retirement? Is your objective to cash out? Is your objective to create an annuity by financing the sale so you get money every year for 2, 3, 4 years? What's your objective? And then how do you accomplish it? We had a client that came to us and said she was a retailer on 6A and she wanted to sell her business. And we looked at it and we said, well, maybe the thing you do is not sell the business. You own all the inventory. Work the inventory down to get all of your cash out of the business. And you own the building you're in. Then sell the property. You can generate a lot more by doing those 2 steps than trying to sell the business. So what you want to do is look at all the options. Do a decision tree on all the options you have. Do you want to sell it outright? Do you want to sell it to a competitor? Do you want to sell it to one of your employees? Mim and I went through 5 iterations of selling our small business, which had 14 associates. It was getting to be a medium-sized business.
Yeah.
But we went through 5 iterations before we found the secret, and the secret was sitting right next to us because one of our associates bought the business, and it's still going.
Yeah, that's amazing. First off, that's kudos to you for being able to not only do that transition out of it, but have the business still running afterwards.
That was one of our objectives.
Yeah.
One of our objectives to give life to the business. Our daughters had their own careers. They weren't interested in
Well, they never want to do what we want them to do.
No, they're doing what they want to do.
Right.
And we're very proud of what they're doing. But they had no interest in trade show and event marketing, training staff, measuring results, which is fine. But Holly, who bought the business, it's still functioning. She had to weather the COVID period.
Yeah, that puts a damper on events.
Oh, yeah. Zero events. But she's back at it. I see her on Facebook all the time, jetting off to Las Vegas to the convention center or to Chicago or Orlando.
That's exciting stuff. Good morning, T. She said our business has had a few pivots and we welcome them now. It is nice when you finally embrace it. And the word iteration that Mark used is one of my husband's favorites. And when I hear it, I break out into hives. I'm like, I'm not ready for that. Good morning, Jen. Jen Kirsten is visiting us from E4All. Thank you so much. I love talking business. Yeah, it's a Monday. Yeah, we're coming off of the holidays, but you know what? A little bit of this, and then you're back on a few holiday days, and we'll be starting a whole new year. And I think this is when we kind of gather our strength, look at those iterations, look at those changes, those shifts, measurable differences, and decide, what are we going to do in 2026? Is this what we want to be doing? Have we grown? Are we effective? I know we're tearing apart everything right now. What if we want to just close one of those verticals that's actually doing really well for us, but it's one of the part of my businesses that it's my least favorite? Have you ever come across this where, you're like, this vertical is crushing, but I'm not into doing it. It's its own business at this point.
Sure. I mean, you have to love what you do.
Yeah.
And you have to get personal enjoyment and fulfillment out of it. It's just not the business. What happens if you continue to operate a segment of your business that you do not enjoy, you will burn out.
Yeah.
So it's important to face those issues. We used to do a one-page business plan. How many new clients do we want to attain in the next year? What new products do we want to offer? Because we had to keep refreshing our offerings in order to keep our current customers coming back. So that one-page plan was our guide for the year. And we'd review it once a quarter and decide, are we on track or we're not? And then pivot and change and modify. And that's the important thing that people need to understand. Our environment is in total flux. There is nothing that will be the same as it was yesterday. So as a business owner, you've got to look at your customers, you got to look at the economic environment, have to look at your source of supply. You have to look at all these elements to determine whether you have the right ingredients to achieve what you're trying to achieve as a business owner.
If you've got questions for Marc, please drop them in the chat. Cindy's like, score, I will check them out. I definitely think that that's a great place for you to go, Cindy, and grab a mentor that's really going to help you grow. You have businesses you work with that are successful businesses.
Oh, yes.
Like Sarah from Cape Cod Nails just won an award for scaling her business or growing her business, Business of the Year with Score. I mean, she puts in the work. Even when, we're all sleeping and doing something else, Sarah is working on herself, working on her business, and working with mentors. And you have so many.
Right. And those are the ones we look at and smile.
Yeah.
And the ones that are struggling, that are trying to still find their focus, we still smile.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a minister who retired who wanted to open a gluten-free wedding cake business.
Okay.
Very narrow niche, but we worked through it, and she found that secret sauce that made it work. She's found people who are interested in carrying her cakes. People are interested in buying her cakes. And so you smiled at the end.
Yeah.
We had a couple come to us a number of years ago. He was a trained chef in New York and Boston, mostly Boston. She grew up in the family restaurant business, so she understood the front of the house. He understood the back of the house. And they had a business plan. They came to the table with a business plan. For them, COVID was a benefit because that business plan needed a lot of work.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, we're going to take this time and rework it. They came back with a different concept. They are now a very successful 6A restaurant, Leonessa.
Oh my God, are they very successful? They are delicious.
And this
One of my faves.
And this is where Score has a little bit a differentiation, because I'm a generalist to speak of. I mean, my focus is marketing. My focus is customer acquisition. We will bring in subject matter experts who can help us through the more difficult parts of businesses that we generalists are not familiar with. I'm doing one right now where the client wants to move her QuickBooks from her desktop to online. Mm-hmm. So we have a subject matter expert, Crystal Mucci, who is going to help this client through it. I'm helping the client on the other side of it. David Troutman, who owns Scargo Cafe, is a subject matter expert for us. He helped me. He co-mentored with me on Leonessa. We have several other successful restaurant stories. We also have other stories that are equally. Mark Lowenstein mentors the Cahoon Museum.
Yeah.
And so one of the things you want to think about is it's not necessarily people who are just starting. People who are in business, that want to fine tune it. People who want to grow their business, but don't quite know how to get there. So a mentor can help you. And the nice thing is we have 7,000 mentors around the country.
And your retention is really good here on the Cape. For whatever reason, we are blessed with having a lot of subject matter experts that like to share about it and not keep it to themselves. Cindy wants to know, how much does it cost?
$0. We are free. We're confidential. We'll work with you as long as you would like. My favorite story is I worked with a wedding planner who was an event manager at one of the large resorts. She wanted to become a wedding planner. So we worked out a plan where she worked, and then she worked part-time, and then she started the business, and then she hired her first employee. And then she hired her second and a third, and now we function as a board of advisors to her. 9 years later, we still meet on a quarterly basis.
I love it.
She drives the agenda. We don't drive the agenda. And what we do is help her think through a bonus program, adding additional employees. How does she market herself? Should she add additional offerings?
It's nice to have trusted advisors that you've worked with for a while. This is what a mentor can do for you. And it took me a while to really understand that, being in my own business, and nobody understood it. No one could do this. But then when I started leaning in, I have one now. I absolutely adore him. And it was just someone that was on my board that was newly retired, that had a lot to give, and then decided that he would be my mentor. And it was great. And he immediately started talking to me about an exit plan. I'm like, buddy, I got a decade, 20 years. No, we're starting now. And I was like, oh, okay. Because it takes so long to figure that part out. Financing wise, scalability, clean books, all the little parts of your business that you don't really even think would be an issue are an issue.
Right. And finding the right person.
Correct. Well, what happens if you kiss a few frogs? What happens when you get into SCORE and you're like, not for me, this mentor? Does it take a while before, or is it sometimes you just find a good one, like you, a generalist, and then we work through the niches?
Oh, no. I mean, there are times when the mentor and the client don't necessarily fit.
Yeah.
And so we'll look and see what the issues are and find another mentor. Or bring a co-mentor. And we do a lot of co-mentoring where we have two of us who work together, and which is really nice. My wife and I, for the last 5 years, have co-mentored.
Well, because you're such busy people also.
Yeah. I mean, she is the creative type. I'm the linear type. I go for the bottom line. She goes for the story. So it works very well. And a co-mentor with several, I'm co-mentoring with a new mentor to us who retired from American Airlines. He owned his own business subsequently. He brings a very different approach to it than I bring. But the nice thing is I can listen while he's talking. He can listen while I'm talking. And then we talk afterwards to determine, okay, where do we go from here, the next step?
Good problem solvers. I love that. Tamora asks, I'm looking forward to reaching out to SCORE for some assistance. What are some ways to reach the Cape Cod community to inform? We produce live social events and theater productions. Interesting.
Yeah, well, I think if you're looking for how to, what you want to do is think in terms of who is your target audience. Sometimes they're groups, they're associations, they're clubs, sometimes they're towns, sometimes they're chambers of commerce. So you want to think about who your target customer, how do they receive their information? And that's where you need to be in order to raise awareness. You need to let them know that you are there and you want to start a conversation. And that's how I did the first step of advice. Go online, go to our website, www.score.org/Cape Cod. Find yourself a mentor who's been in the events business, understand some of it. I mentored a New Jersey company that was in the events business, started in the events business, 2 young women, and they're booming along right now. They found a niche through a partner. So you want to think about that. I mentored a gal who did Beyond the Bounds, which was a live music on the beach that combined the environment, music, and the love of the beach. And she found her connections through local and small associations and groups.
Yeah, I think you're right on the right track too, T and B. I know that you've sort of niched down a lot, and I think you're on your way. I think that that's the thing when we start a business. We're like, everybody's going to want this. It's broad. It's open. No, no, you've got to find your people.
Yeah, and having a niche is very important. I mean, if you are doing events, what type of events? Because people want to work with specialists. They want to work with people who know exactly what they're doing. If it's music events, if it's live theater events, if it's fun events, if it's like Chris Schultz and his pirate event, you've got to decide what role you're going to play. Pardon me.
I'm like, get it out. Problem with live TV. I didn't even ask you if you wanted water. I feel I'm the worst guest.
And target that audience.
Speaking of a live event, I'll be out today teaming up with an E4All graduate, Wild Water Collective. Mariah and I have put on for the last 4 years Adult Rock Night. So I'll be DJing over at the Charles Moore Arena tonight, and you can skate around if you can still do so. I fell into a wall yesterday. I think I broke my finger.
Oh, great.
This is not even looking where I'm going, so I'm not going to be on ice skates. I will be DJing at you while you are ice skating around, and that is tonight from 8 until 10. It's a fundraiser for We Can and also Cape Cod Old Timers. We've done this for 4 years in a row. We absolutely love it because she grew up listening to me DJing.
Oh.
And I used to DJ at their thank you, Chris. Look at the service here at Mashpee TV. Once again, thank you very much to Mashpee TV, always saying yes to us, even when I don't talk to them for a full week. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in the studio on Monday. So Mariah grew up listening to me on 96.3 The Rose, and I used to DJ Rock Night for the kids. And so she decided when we were in E4All together and we were in the same class, she's like, will you do me a favor? If I rent out the Charles Moore Arena, will you DJ and we'll do a fundraiser? And I'm like, absolutely. So it's a full on nostalgia night.
That's great. That's great.
It's
It's
fun.
a great way to fundraise.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work with nonprofits, and getting somebody to hold an event for your benefit is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Because most nonprofits are small.
Yeah.
And they don't have the expertise. But think about the Le Mans, how they hold an event for the benefit of other nonprofits.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, I've been involved.
Second City Cycle or Second Summer Cycle. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Same thing.
Well, that's a Cape Cod Chamber event, or is it, what is Second Summer Cycle?
That's David Troutman.
Yep.
And I think they have 9 or 12 different nonprofits that benefit from it.
Yeah, I love it. This is what we do. Talk about the nonprofit sector a little bit, because you have great benefits to working with SCORE.
Yeah, we have 5 mentors who really focus on nonprofits as well as their for-profit clients. One of the things that nonprofits don't realize is that the only difference between a for-profit and a nonprofit, maybe not the only difference, is their tax status. It's like running a business.
Yep.
The difference is that the net revenues go back into the nonprofit, not to the shareholders' pockets. So one of the things that we do 3 very specific types of mentoring. One, we mentor executive directors one-on-one, how to become a more effective leader and manager. Secondly, we work with boards. We do board assessments, their strengths or weaknesses. We do board development and helping them become more effective boards. Help chairs understand how to lead their boards more effectively, lead their organizations. And lastly, where we do most of our work is facilitating strategic plans.
How many strategic plans did you do last year?
Oh, I don't know, last year, probably a dozen or more, but we've done over 70 in the last 5 years.
That's impressive.
And we worked with large nonprofits as well as very small nonprofits.
Yeah.
There are over 700, I think, nonprofits on the Cape.
There are a lot, and various stages
Right.
also, and
yeah.
doing different things.
Yeah, we've got, and many of them are in competition with each other, doing the same things. That if they just looked at each other and say, how can we collaborate and become more focused together, they'd be more successful.
Are you finding that a lot? Do you find that people have a hard time collaborating?
Yes, because mission comes from passion, and they don't want to give up their passion and merge their mission with somebody else. But there are a number that are doing it and looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
The big issue that people find is fundraising is a big challenge. We only have, 230,000 people full-time on the Cape. And it's forecast to decrease over the next decade or so.
Yeah.
So finding sources of revenue and seeing what's happened with federal government funding through grants, it's becoming more difficult. So the whole idea of collaborating, working together, finding ways that your mission and another's mission can be merged so you have one organization seeking support rather than two is really very, very important.
Yeah, I find that really difficult here on the Cape because there are so many great organizations. But our gift, our give, our end of the year donations, these are the time, right now you've probably already allocated that, but you might see while you're looking at taxes, oh, wow, I need to make a gift. I need to make a donation. Where does this go? You probably already have 3 or 4 or 10 people that are in line that you would gift money to next. Right. This is over time, watching what people are doing and missions that you are finding successful or ones that resonate with you. And that also changes.
Oh, yes. And it changes year to year. My wife and I will sit down in the next few weeks and look at where our donations going, because they're actually coming. We make our donations from our IRA pre-tax.
Yep.
So we have some that we always contribute to. They're very important to us. There are others that have come to the forefront that we say they need support, whether it be housing, whether it be food insecurity, whether it be women's rights. We look at that and making a conscious decision is very important. And if there are fewer out there that can gain support, then I think the health of the nonprofit community will be improved.
Yeah, that is some area in which I am growing, because now I'm heading up our nonprofit, but also the chamber world, supporting the chamber, supporting Mashpee proper, and doing all of this. We just joined the philanthropy Cape Cod, right. And that was mind blowing to me, the amount of human beings in the nonprofit sector right here on Cape Cod. I was like, whoa, there are a lot of us.
Philanthropy Partners of Cape and Islands is a great resource to learn,
yes,
to grow, to understand not just the basics, but some of the nuances of working within the nonprofit world.
Good morning, David. Yeah, I went to all the basics classes because I'm like, let's just start over. Sometimes you got to clear your brain of what I think I know and what I actually know are two very different things.
Yes, definitely.
And I'm okay with saying that to myself. I'm new here. I keep saying it during the chamber meetings and they say, Stephanie, you've been here a year now. It's no longer valid. And I disagree. I am new here until I say I'm not new here. Because I still feel fresh. I feel like I have so many things I need to learn still. And even then, if you're in your business for a long time and you're stagnant, you can learn. You can.
And that's another key ingredient of being a successful small business owner, and that is being a lifelong learner.
You have to.
You need to learn something new every single day, whether it's an article that you find, whether it's a post you read, whether you listen to a podcast. But learning something new is very, very important.
I feel like it's an affliction now. Yeah. I don't know if it's a good thing, but I'm in quest of it all of the time now. It's a shift. Definitely in me. And I know a lot of our entrepreneurs that are watching right now, I think you're getting there also.
Right. And that's the thing I find most interesting after almost a decade of writing tips from SCORE is I learn something every time I write a column. because I'll research it.
Yep.
I'll look at what are other people talking about in this topic. And so what you want to do is you want to find that sweet spot where you want to learn. I mean, AI, for example.
Yeah.
What is it all about? How can you apply it to your business? I know we're going to talk about the Eastern Bank sponsored program, but one of the workshops we're conducting, Dale Shabagian is going to conduct one on AI tools for retailers.
Dale Shabagian, please come to this. I'm telling you what, he blows my mind every time I have a conversation with him. He is firing on 85 cylinders that I don't even know where they've come from. Always. Yeah. And growing something. He's got his hand in something, doing something.
Right. He's got Wolfie's Bakery. He's got Holly's Deli. He now is into coffee.
Yep.
And the coffee's really good.
Yeah. It's really impressive to watch him grow, but also it's not one of those things where he needs to, he sees the runway on things sometimes. And then it's like, okay, that's great. This is in place. You can have it. Next.
Right. Sometimes, right. Yeah, I actually have mentored him over the last decade.
That's amazing.
And it's hey, I need to have a talk. So
you're like, oh no, what are we doing now?
It's not a regularly scheduled like our normal mentoring, but yeah, he's doing one on AI. So one of the areas that you might think about is AI, or what are the new tools that we can use to manage our inventory? Find articles about it, listen to podcasts. So being a lifelong learner is very, very important if you're really serious about being a successful small business owner.
This is what I love about SCORE. You've got tons of workshops all of the time, right, and many are free. Some are short money, 10, 15, right, $20, just to make sure you're showing up. Because I think that right, we get so excited. We want to learn all of these new things, and then time is finite, right?
Oh, it could be raining outside.
Things happen where we're so last minute on Cape Cod, which makes me crazy, but it's just one of those things where we don't have time until we have time.
Right. Yeah. Well, Eastern Bank has found a niche in the Cape Cod community, and that's education. They sponsored a full day workshop early in the year, and they came back and said, we'd want to participate in a series of workshops. So we're working with them the 4 Thursdays in January and the first Thursday in February. We're offering 4 segment series of workshops, and they're focused on business planning and validating your ideas. And this isn't just for people who want to start a business. This is people who are in business that want to grow their business through adding products or product line extensions or adding another location, because you can use the same planning tools.
Scaling is scary.
Yes, it is. Very scary. When we started our business as a training business, in 2008, we were having breakfast with one of our clients, and he said to us over breakfast, one of the biggest challenges I'm going to have next year is validating the investments we're making in our trade shows. I walked away from the breakfast and I looked at my associate who was at the breakfast with me, and I said, what did we just hear? We need to help them measure their performance. When we sold our business, the majority of our revenue was in measurement. We scaled our business. We didn't give up on the training, but we found that the sweet spot became, are we generating a return on our investments?
Yeah. I think that that's a great conversation to have. And especially, I know me personally in my business, we've done about the same for about 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at my husband going to, what do we want? What is different? This year we got a lot of time back.
Right. And
I have a couple of employees. So that's nice, right, but still about the same. So it's definitely a time for us to start looking at how we're going to scale this. Where are we going with this?
Our second Thursday is all about networking. One of the big issues that people have is they go to networking events and they walk away with nothing. Well, the question is, why did you go? What was your objective? So it's like anything else, you ought to sit down before you go. And this session is all about planning your networking, executing your networking. You know, I go to Chamber of Commerce events all the time. And the biggest issue I have is, how do I get involved in a conversation with 3 people who already know each other?
Yeah. Yep.
So we're going to focus on networking, and we're going to focus on how do you grow your sphere of influence through networking.
I'm very excited to be talking about this one, and I will be involved in this. Will be at the Mashpee Chamber, and you will not leave there with a stack of business cards that you will then put in a purse somewhere and then never look at again.
Right.
I promise you.
That is not the objective, to have
No.
that stack. The objective is to start a relationship, to have a conversation that is relational. It's not a selling opportunity.
Correct.
So, and the third session is all about cash management. Jim Denhauser is going to lead this session, and we're going to talk about the number one reason why small businesses fail.
Oh.
It's running out of money, not managing the cash appropriately and effectively. This is a big issue on the Cape. We're a seasonal economy. Some of our businesses are only open 12 weeks.
Yeah, and we're coming into scary time, right?
Right.
You made the nut, or you didn't make it,
Right.
or it's December and you're looking at the books and
And how do you get through
lean.
this shoulder season? How do you get through the winter? We're very lucky because we now have a fairly active shoulder season in May,
Right.
June, and in October, November. But you have to figure out how to manage that. And Jim's going to talk about that. And we already talked about Dale's session on AI.
Yep.
But the one big session we're going to end with is gold medal customer service.
I love it.
I think there's a saying that takes 6 times more to acquire a new customer than it does to keep an existing customer.
We have so much going on,
Right.
and it's coming at us from every angle
Right.
all day.
So learning about customer service, how to make your customer feel valued, how to make sure that they want to come back to you the next time they have a need, want, or desire that drove them to you in the first place. So we're going to talk about that. And in each session, Eastern Bank is going to talk about some of the elements of their business that can help our small businesses in ways that they probably aren't aware of.
I love that.
And it's free.
Yeah. We also like that price point.
Eastern Bank has been very generous, so we can offer it free.
You've had a great collaboration with many businesses to be able to offer these services for free. And I really, if you're not on any of their newsletters for SCORE, if you're not subscribing to any of these things, I suggest you do so. It's always good to get that email, to be reminded of what's out there, what's current. And also I feel like SCORE watches my back. Like there's this thing that will pop up and I'm like, I don't know anything about that, and I probably should. And it's just that gentle reminder, we're here.
Right. And one of the things we do to accomplish that is we ask our clients every year, what's keeping you awake at night? What would you like to learn that will make your business
want the
more
list?
effective?
You're on the other side now. You sold your business and now you're working with other businesses. Right. I don't know how that transition happened for you.
Oh, I'll tell you, being a small business owner, you can relate to this. One of my biggest fears in selling our business was, what would I do with myself? I mean, it was 24/7 and It was international. It wasn't just getting on a plane and going to Philadelphia or to Chicago or Los Angeles or Orlando. It was going to Europe, or going to South America. It was going to Mexico. It was going to South Africa. And so I was testing. And so I'd talk to people, well, what do you do in retirement? And we had a dog that I took for a walk every night. And one of my neighbors was the president of a manufacturing company in, I think, Tennessee before he retired. And one night I said to him, well, what are you doing in retirement? He said, well, I'm a volunteer for SCORE. And I never heard of it before. I could have really used it when I started my business.
Right?
Yeah. But, and then we've been on the Cape for 57 years. I'm sure where I was living then, they had been there quite a while. So he said, I decided that the year before we retired and sold our business, I would start volunteering for SCORE. So I spent that year learning about SCORE, learning about mentoring. And when we sold the business, signed the papers on December 31st, 2013, I was ready to go.
Wow. That's incredible, because you always wonder what is it that you're going to do, because it is so chaotic to own a business.
Right. And you want to do things that are giving back. I mean, volunteering for SCORE. I volunteer for Family Table Collaborative. I volunteer for Beta Sound, which helps seniors stay in their home. It's giving back.
Yeah.
And they're all feel good. I mean, you get off a call, even in my tough call with a client, and it didn't go as quiet as you wanted it to go, but you feel good about it. You've contributed. You've done something to make a difference.
It's impressive. And I'm just so thankful that we have you and SCORE to support our businesses and our growth wherever it is that it is. And it doesn't, maybe you're not owning a business right now, but you don't know how to do QuickBooks for something, or maybe you want to learn a business skill. Maybe you're thinking about an idea, or maybe you just want to support a friend. These classes are for anyone.
Right. And we have 40 mentors and subject matter experts here on the Cape.
How does one get involved in mentoring? What if we have an expert out there that wants to give?
All they have to do is go on our website, www.score.org/Cape Cod, and there's a button that says volunteer.
That's it.
And you fill out a very short form. 2 of us will sit with you and talk about SCORE and mentoring, find out about you, how it will fit with what we're doing, and either invite you to join us or not.
I love it. Good morning, Dawn. She says, retirement to me means napping a lot and me time. Well, that could be it. Or you could be working on your dog walking business, Miss. She's on the West Coast, and there is SCORE everywhere.
My grandson has a dog walking business. Very active.
It's lucrative. We love our animals.
Right.
And it's not just, you have other animals that you watch as well, Dot. You're wild. And I love watching you in Ken's adventures. They were on Cape Cod for a while, and they've relocated to the West Coast.
Oh, wow.
Ken used to be the voice of Pixie 103, and now he's the voice of Lemonadio. And I'm very excited to still have him in my space. Dawn does some of the voice work on Lemonadio. And we've got a fabulous New Year's programming that is coming up. Elastic Glam. Seth has really, really worked his magic this year, and it will be running all day on New Year's Eve and then all day on New Year's Day with some great programming. So yeah, please continue to like and subscribe to Lemonadio. Lemonadio.com is where you can find us. Roku TV. Alexa, play Lemonadio Radio. We're always there for you 24 hours a day. Some last minute things that you want to get to and talk about before we leave. We've got time.
Well, one of the things we're looking at is a number of years ago, Cape Cod 5 and Rogers and Gray sponsored creating a paperback book out of our tips from SCORE. We took the first 200 tips and created a paperback book. We then did it 2 more times, making ebooks, which are available online. And we're looking at doing it again in 2026.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and we have an idea how to get it sponsored, but this is a way that small business owners can access lifelong learning.
Definitely do. And your business tips are great and well thought out. And I feel like I learned something every single time I read them.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The technique for finding the topics has been a very interesting journey. My wife reads lots of newsletters, and being in business together, we used to share ideas all the time. So every morning after she reads a newsletter, she'll send me, hey, here's a thought. And then I take that thought and then start researching it. And it's a way of finding what people are talking about in business in general, and then zeroing it down to our community. So everything we do on Tips from SCORE focuses on small business and seasonal economy.
Which we have all of those things. And I love that you said, I bounced it off of my wife. My best partner, and I'm so thankful for, is my husband. He finally left his 9-to-5 3 years ago and started his own business and is very successful. But I love having that partner that I can bounce ideas off of. And we absolutely do complement each other in that space.
And that's a very important part of small businesses that most people don't understand. If you don't have a partner, you need to find an accountability partner, somebody that you can bounce ideas off of. It's lonely.
Yeah.
I used to have a telephone group that I talked to when I first started the
A
business.
what?
Yeah, a telephone group, but it was back in the 80s.
I love this.
There was no cell phones.
Yeah, right?
I bought an Apple II Plus computer to start when I started the business. But having somebody to bounce ideas off of. Mim and I are very different. We've been married for 58 years.
Congrats.
But she is very creative and I'm very linear, as I said before. Yep. So we come about things very differently. But what happens is you get the best of two ideas. Mm-hmm. And like you and your husband.
Yep. He's linear. I'm the creative one.
And so, and that's the way you get the best. And that's what you're looking for. So if you don't have a partner in business, go find somebody that can be your accountability partner, somebody that you can bounce ideas off, somebody you can talk to on a regular basis.
This is why having SCORE and having a mentor is crucial if you do not have that person. I mean, I need that person also, but having a partner or somebody else that is a trusted space and also makes you better. Yeah. Challenges your ideas.
It does.
Makes you grow.
Because you think the idea is the greatest idea.
For sure. Always.
Right.
Don says, I'm so freaking busy. Happy New Year to you. Hey, Eleanor, thanks for joining us on the show. We've been chatting with Marc Goldberg from SCORE and just talking about some of the workshops, some of the series, their book that is going to be coming out in 2026, mentoring and ways to scale and grow your business or leave it. Right. I'm done with this. How do I sell this? This is great. It's wonderful. It served me, but I'm all set here.
Right.
And what that exit strategy is, because it's a lot longer than you think.
Yes. And it's more difficult than you think. And you don't want to be that entrepreneur that worked their entire life growing your business, finding that it's worth less than.
Well, I think that that's also a thing to talk about. Reasonable exit plans. I think people have this valuation of their pride and joy, right, and it's not really what it's worth.
No, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. Now, there are formulas. I mean, there's multipliers of net profit, of income after taxes. There are all kinds of formulas. But in the bottom line, it's only worth what somebody is willing to pay you for it. So you have to be very realistic about it. And when we started selling our business, our accountant gave us a number. It was nowhere near what it was in the end. Because in the end, what we said, what we wanted was an annuity. So we financed the sale, but we had income coming for 3 years after we stopped working. And
That's
that
nice.
Filled the void.
Yeah. Strategy. It's really what is going to take you through it. And I think that that's fabulous. And it's something you can live with too.
And it's like anything else. You really have to think it through. And you have to be strategic about your thinking. It's not short term. It's not transactional. It's really thinking through the dynamics of the sale and the transition of the business.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's deeper than you think. And I have that conversation now, get started and run over to SCORE and at least subscribe to their newsletter so they can keep on track of what everything is going on and the changes in 2026. I feel like I'm always everywhere I turn, and especially me as I'm trying to ingest it for our business owners as the executive director of the Mashpee Chamber and trying to, support businesses the best I can, giving them all of these tools, whether you use them or not. I'm here for you. That's been really difficult for me to collect because I feel like it's so ever changing with the government, with our local government, with what's going on right here in Mashpee. It's hard.
Yeah, and change is very difficult. People have difficulty just getting their arms around something that's new and different.
Yeah.
And when there's no rationale for it, that even makes it harder. And we see that with lots of regulations, lots of licensing, lots of issues related to small business. I mean, we had a client who wanted to open a business in Centerville, and it was a studio for youngsters to do art. And she called it a school, and the town said, you need 3 bathrooms. She called it a studio. and the space was fine. So
It's little stuff like
little
this.
stuff like that. And you really have to be very patient and look at all the elements that are involved in whatever you're doing.
Yeah, sometimes I'm got plenty of calluses now. I've toughened up.
Right.
And I think sometimes you just have to roll with the punches a little bit. Marc, how do people get a hold of you specifically if they want to?
They go on to our website, go find a mentor. My profile is on the website.
Oh, it's like a dating thing?
Yeah. without having to buy any food or drink.
I love it.
And you can read my profile and click choose me.
And so there are many other mentors for you to check out
Right.
to score. It doesn't just necessarily have to be Marc or Mim or
Yeah. And we have a number of mentors who have real specialties. We have mentors who had been lawyers and went on into tech businesses or went into recreational businesses. We have people who we have one who was the president of the University of Connecticut bookstore system. We have one who's a retired professor but ran a social service agency for the state of Hawaii. We have, as I said, we have one who retired from American Airlines in customer service and subsequently owned his whole small business. We have people who were accountants. We have people who were retailers. So we have a variety of experiences that we can bring to the forefront. And if we can't individually figure out what it is that you need in the way of specifics, we can find somebody. I have a co-mentor who's in Chicago who is a contracts lawyer, and I've called him in. He called me in for a client who was going to their first trade show. So the collaboration and co-mentoring is
so important because we need to gather our people together sometimes. And sometimes I'm not the best at something, but I'll find you the person.
Right.
And that's what I like the co-mentoring for.
Yeah, one of my friends who's a mentor in Illinois has a client who's in the robotics business, and they needed to go to a trade show, so he called me in. Then they needed to find a beta site for their robotic system, and so I contacted another mentor who had been in robotics in his early career, but was in high-tech startups, and he joined the team. So we'll find the solutions, and we'll find the people who have the expertise to help.
It's amazing. And please just ask for help. That's the thing we're not good at also
Right.
as entrepreneurs.
And even we once had a seamstress who came in and she was crying. She sat down and was crying. We said, well, tell us your story. She said, I work 7 days a week. At the end of the week, I have no money. So we looked at how she's pricing. We looked at her prices where they were compared to competition. We asked her the question, how much money do you want to earn? So we came to the conclusion she needed to charge $25 an hour for every hour she worked. We also found out she was subcontracting the high margin, but keeping the high volume work.
For her.
Bad news.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So she pivoted. She reorganized herself. She came back 2 months later with a smile on her face, and she said, I found the secret sauce. So, it's all about raising your hand, and it might be a small thing, but somebody out there can help you, and that's what mentoring is all about.
I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh,
It's
my
very
pleasure.
valuable, and I really do appreciate it. If you're a subject matter guest or you just want to talk about something that's going on in your life, you can always book a time to come on the show. We are open and ready for business in 2026, and I'm really excited to see some of the fabulous guests that we're going to bring. Will you come back?
Absolutely.
I love having you. Mashpee TV, thank you once again for being a studio that just says yes to us. And also, if you're thinking about joining the Mashpee Chamber of Commerce, do so. We have entrepreneur memberships. We have a farmers market member. If you're thinking about doing that, we're about to throw out applications for 2026 and the full season of events that is happening in January. So be looking for discounts. It is the time of year where we're getting organized, we're jumping in. And oh, by the way, yeah, taxes, they're right around the corner. And there are lots of new rules that we're going to have to ingest. And we will be talking to Crystal Mucci a little bit about what's going on for that. She's our fabulous bookkeeper as well. Whatever it is that you're doing today, do it with a smile and enjoy the warmer weather that we've got. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hank will be in the studio, home studio base, lemonade.com, and share this podcast with anybody that you feel it would be helpful for. We thank you and have a great day. Bye, Marc.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
All right. Look at that. Back to work. You've got us. If you're listening on Lemonade, Hank is coming up with a little bit of lunch break. Thanks.